What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we've got a pretty big news update from Bungie in the form of This Week at Bungie regarding Destiny 2, and there's some pretty cool stuff to talk about. So firstly, they give us a date for Festival of the Lost, which is coming up this month. We'll talk about that in just a moment. On top of this, Bungie talk about exotic quests, specifically the Malfeasance quest. They do plan to make a couple of changes. They also speak about updates to weapons, as well as power ammo in the game. And then Bungie break down the next couple of game updates that we're going to see, and some of the changes that will be inside of those updates. And these are two updates scheduled for October. They give us insights about The Last Wish, and their plans for prestige modes, as well as raid lairs moving forward. And there's a few other things to round up in this video, guys, so there's quite a bit to talk about. If you do enjoy this one, a rating below is very much appreciated. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe to see a lot more Destiny 2 content. But for now, let's jump straight into it. So on the subject of new content and upcoming stuff in the game, Bungie say we have some more tricks up our sleeves to keep your Guardian lifestyle rich and exciting, and those conversations will begin soon. In the meantime, there are still some questions we'd like to answer about how the day-to-day experience will be changing with the next round of updates. So we're going to talk about some of the changes and things that they'll be doing with the game in the next couple of weeks. But firstly, on the subject of Festival of the Lost, Bungie say welcome to October. This month will be home to another Festival of the Lost. It begins on October 16th with a celebration of lost heroes and a new challenge to tackle. It includes a costume party, and you're all invited, and it ends with a quest to solve a murder. Be on the lookout next week for a full reveal of what we're scaring up for this season. So obviously that sounds pretty interesting. Costume Party certainly sounds somewhat akin to what we've seen in the past with Festival of the Lost, where we've seen things like the masks added to the game, but they also speak about a quest to solve a murder, which is certainly going to be pretty interesting. So I'd love to hear your speculation about what that could be. But Bungie say, look out next week for the full reveal for this event, so we are going to get some kind of information. Probably we'll see a trailer next week drop. So that's going to be pretty exciting stuff. There's a lot of people highly anticipating upcoming content in the game. Next though, Bungie talk about some updates coming to the game soon, and they say the following changes are currently in development for Destiny 2 Update 2.0.5, planned for October 30th. If any issues are found in the course of that work, changes may be delayed or tweaked accordingly. Make sure to stay tuned for future updates. But first they talk about the Malfeasance and acquiring the quest. They say, we've heard player feedback concerning the spawn rates of the Ascendant Primeval Servitor, and we are making adjustments to how frequently it will appear. So of course this is the giant floating meatball that people have lovingly called it. But they say during week 3 of the curse cycle, also known as a full curse week, the Ascendant Primeval Servitor will have almost the same chance to spawn as any other Primeval. We will also be increasing the chance for the boss to spawn during lesser curse weeks, but it will still be lower than during a full curse week. For full transparency, since the Ascendant Primeval Servitor spawn rate will be increased significantly when this changes are released, we are tweaking how ship and sparrow rewards drop from the boss. Vanity items are no longer guaranteed drops for subsequent boss kills after you earn the quest. Instead, the vanity items will now only have a chance to drop. So if you're wondering what those are, there are actually some other items, the ship and the sparrow, that they talk about that you can acquire when you kill the Malfeasance boss multiple times. But from what they're saying, there's going to be a pretty significant change to the actual spawn rate of this Primeval. So on the full curse week, which is another couple of weeks from now until that cycles back around, they say it's going to be almost as common as any other normal Primeval that you'd see in a game. And in comparison to how it is right now, you know, some folks playing 180 matches and not seeing it and all that kind of crazy stuff, it's definitely a pretty significant change. So I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on that. There's been a lot of feedback from frustrated players that have definitely had a hard time getting this boss to spawn. So let me know your thoughts down below. They do say they're currently developing a change to Gambit matchmaking that will help the extended load times some players have been experiencing. When this change is released, we will be re-enabling quitter penalties for the Gambit playlist. However, we have increased the number of games players can leave before they are restricted from the playlist, and we're hoping this change will help mitigate some situations where bad internet connectivity results in a restriction. There are going to be some more changes to power ammo, so they say to help balance some weapons, we're changing the amount of ammo that you'll receive when opening an ammo crate with certain weapons equipped. So Sleeper Simulant, the ammo crate will grant 2 shots, down from 4, and for swords, the ammo crate will grant 12 sword ammo, which is up from 6. So I feel like those are definitely some positive changes. We should also bear in mind that Sleeper Simulant is going to have a reduction in aim assist, which should make it less potent, especially alongside these ammo changes. Next though, Bungie talk about the update calendar for the game. So they say last year we used roadmaps to telegraph how Destiny 2 was going to evolve. In the months to come, our plans for the seasons and the annual pass are the items worth illustrating. That doesn't mean you won't receive updates that address the issues you've been talking to us about. Here are some downloads that we hope are worth putting onto your calendar, as well as a quick preview of what to expect from each of them. So in update 2.04, tentatively scheduled for October 16th, so this should go live at the same time as Festival of the Lost. They say they've added the ability to hover over lost sectors to see their name once a player has looted them. Players can now track up to 3 pursuits, that's definitely a good change. They added Through Fire and Flood, Zenobia D, and Crooked Fang to the World Legendary pool. Edge Transit will have some company, so that'll mix up the drops a little bit. They fixed a bug where Prime Engrams were going straight to the Postmaster at the end of Crucible matches, added transmat effects to collections under the Flare category. They've identified a very rare issue where Gambit Invasion Portal will not reactivate once used, and they're currently developing a fix. And they're developing a fix for an issue where 1000 voices may cause a loud screeching audio when fired while strafing or jumping. And if you've heard that kind of glitch with the audio, it's pretty terrible. All of a sudden, the weapon just kind of starts screaming with this mad white noise. So those are some of the changes that will come in the update alongside Festival of the Lost, but there will be another update on October 30th. This will be update 2.05. They do say, please note, the changes listed below are currently in development, so they could change or be impacted by delays, but they're looking to rebalance the functionality of distribution and dynamo perks, requiring players to be near opponents for super energy benefits. They're looking to slightly increase sword damage in PvE, increase fusion rifle damage in PvE. They're looking to increase the viability of Malfeasance in PvE and in Gambit invasions. Adjusting the visibility of the Titan's banner shield to make it easier for players to see through the effects. Adjusting exotic rewards to help reduce the number of duplicate drops. Players may still receive duplicates, but there will be a better chance for Forsaken exotics when receiving exotic rewards. So the changes to the exotic drop rates, that's going to come on October 30th, hopefully. So a little while away, but it's definitely on the way. They say the chance for a Nightfall unique reward to drop will increase each time a Nightfall is completed without a unique drop. I personally think that is a very good change. They're adding Masterwork cores as rewards for specific Spider Wanted bounties and General Scrapper bounties. Also, another very positive change, reducing the time for a single shader deletion from your inventory, and the developing a fix for issues where a team will defeat the Ascend and Primeval Servitor, but the opposing team receives credit for the kill. Now that would be an annoying one as well, wouldn't it? All of these things they're looking to fix, update, or change in the October 30th update. They do say expect more details on the blog for each update in the coming weeks. So let me know your thoughts about that, but now Bungie talk about the Last Wish raid. And on the subject of the Prestige version, this is what they have to say about the content. So they say, as we hope you have noticed, our goals for this expansion have been very different. All year long, we've been working behind the scenes to reinvent the way a story campaign feeds into the lasting hobby. We set out to change everything from the way that you collect gear to the way that you tackle the end game. With the goals to create a more varied and rewarding experience across the endgame of Destiny laid out before us, we had to make a series of difficult choices. One of these choices was that we would not be creating multiple difficulties of Last Wish. Instead, Forsaken would focus on making sure the single difficulty mode of Last Wish was highly rewarding, and that there were plenty of unique activities to participate in for great rewards across the entire endgame. Once this decision was made, we focused on creating one definitive version of Last Wish with no qualifiers attached to it. We wanted to create an experience that offered the truest forms of every encounter from day one, and offered some of the most powerful rewards in the game to anyone who could succeed. They say they can't wait to see the reaction from players in December in the Black Armory's brand new raid lair. And they do say if you're holding an annual pass, look for more information about the next raid lair we're creating for a raider such as yourself real soon. So it looks like we could get some more details about annual pass pretty soon, but essentially they've confirmed that there won't be another version of The Last Wish, so there isn't going to be a prestige version, which I think is definitely a pretty interesting decision. I mean, Last Wish does have a larger loot pool, more things to go after than some of the other raids, especially with random rolls. So the hope is that it will certainly remain to be, replayable. But let me know your thoughts about that. No changes, no other difficulties for this particular raid. Bungie do give some clarification now about Nightfall Ranks, so they say they represent a player's progression through all of Destiny 2's Nightfall strikes, and are incremented every time a player completes a different Nightfall strike, with a bonus threshold beyond 100,000 points. For each Nightfall where player surpasses bonus threshold, the Nightfall rank will increment upwards by 1 whole point for players to achieve the maximum Nightfall rank of 14, and make Zavala's Tier 10 Masterwork Toil and Trouble available for purchase. Players will need to surpass the 100,000 point bonus threshold in all 14 Nightfall strikes. So just a bit of further clarification about that, you will have to play basically every Nightfall strike in the game and hit that 100k threshold to be able to hit rank 14, the Nightfall rank at Zavala, and pick up those specific rewards. So for now guys, that is going to summarize this week at Bungie. A lot of stuff to break down in this one. We have 2 somewhat major updates coming in October, definitely with some very needed changes and improvements to the game. Let me know your thoughts about the Malfeasance quest boss actually spawning more regularly, any of those changes to weapons and ammo. Next week we'll get that information about Festival of the Lost, that's going to be pretty exciting. So I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section guys, but if you have enjoyed this video, a like below is very much appreciated. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe to see a lot more D2 content. But for now, whatever you guys get up to, I hope you have an awesome day.